What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization. And I gotta say, this episode was fucking phenomenal. Amazing, spectacular, very thought-provoking episode. This was definitely... You could really see Reki Kawahara putting his all, and you can definitely see that this man has definitely evolved as a writer since we first saw him, back with season 1 or the first light novel back in 2012 when season 1 debuted. You guys know, but a lot of interesting stuff happened in this week's episode that was really interesting, and I'm actually kind of surprised Reki Kawahara is going in the direction he is with the modern day, or with the IRL stuff, because I can definitely say this is the most interesting IRL stuff we have gotten anywhere in Sword Art Online, because season 1 we didn't have much of it. There was a stuff we did have it a lot more prominent in the second half with Kirito and Tsu, but not much really happened other than Asuna is kind of stuck in the nerve gear, Sugo's an asshole, and we gotta take care of him, and of course, incest. Season 2 was the same thing. There was stuff with Death Gun, Sion's backstory, but still nothing too interesting or noteworthy. And now in the, alternative, same thing. Really nothing happened in the modern day that was really of interest. There was some cool stuff here and there, but nothing that makes you go, wow, I want to see more of this. With Alicization, on the other hand, I'm more interested in the IRL stuff than I am with the actual MMO this time, or the game, or Alicization in general. I'm more interested there than I am here. So that's saying something. But yeah. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's get on to this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization, baby. What am I, Adam Cole? Anyway, let's get started. So we started off with that amazing reveal we had last week, as my phone is going off. Last week of Asta being revealed to have been joining, Kaiba's girlfriend. Her name is on slip in my mind right now, guys, so excuse me on that. Where she says, where, as we know, she said, "Yo, fuck this! Where's Kirito? Where the fuck is he, man?" She obviously didn't say it, but you guys know me. I always like throwing in my own little personality in the dialogue when I review animes. It's just something I like to do for the lulz. Anyway, so she asks him, where is he? Was this all a lie? Was this all a front? Where the fuck is Kirito? So he does explain, Corcore? I know his name was something like that. I'm still don't pronounce the actual pronunciation of it. Anyway, he explains that Kirito, yes, he is indeed safe. He is still, alive. Okay, but the damage he took from that syringe, or whatever you want to call it, from the fugitive from the Death Gun incident, pretty much fucked his brain. To the point where he's pretty much brain dead at this point, a vegetable. At this point, he... Like from the way they explained, leading inside, nothing modern medicine could not fix the damage he's saying to his brain. So it makes me think that whatever was in there pretty much made him brain dead or a vegetable, if I had to assume. But I don't have a PhD in neurology, so I wouldn't. So you guys probably should do so. You'll take that as you will. Anyway. So that what they're doing with the STL is pretty much repairing Kirito's brain. I mean, they go a lot more scientific, but since I do not have a PhD in neurology, I'm just gonna do this in terms that I can actually understand. You guys can't do, instead of just repeating the same scientific mumbo jumbo they used. Anyway. So from the way I gathered it, it seems like what the STL is doing is essentially repairing Kirito's brain, and repairing his the neurons inside his brain, repairing them to where his brain can function properly like it was. So to a point where Kirito, is good as new, just like the incident never even happened. That's pretty much what that's pretty much what they're doing with Kirito, with the STL, this full spec STL, is essentially just repairing Kirito's brain, the neurons inside of it, and just, getting him back to normal. That's essentially what they're doing. At least from what I gather from it. I think, anyway. But of course, like all things, since this is an anime, and we know this is going to be 4 courses, this, of course, will take time. And so Kirito's fine, and then I was like, okay, I believe you, I understand, I believe you from here on out. Which I love how quickly Asta was like, okay, yeah, I believe you now. After he explained it, she didn't ask, like, okay, where's his body? Where is he? She, like, because for all she knows, they could have been lying out of their ass, and Kirito could be at the bottom of the ocean like Titanic, or inside, like, the little, ring they got in there, like it's rope. By the way, I've not seen Roe in case you're wondering, but I have seen Titanic. Yeah, so, I mean, if I was in Asta's position, I would have at least asked, like, okay, I get what you're saying, but as like this is like the last thing I need to know before I trust you. And then I'd probably still be a little paranoid, a little like, all right, man, I trust you, but I don't completely trust you. If I see Kirito's body and he's and he's fine, then I would believe him. But also I feel like also was a little too quick to believe him. I would have at least I'm surprised she'd ask him to at least see his body first and then go from there. But whatever. So. Why? So then she asked him, okay, why? Okay, so what are you guys doing? Why do you guys need Kirito? Why do you guys need him? And so he says that what they're essentially doing with Kirito and Alicization and everything is to make an artificial intelligence from the bottom up. So, what they mean from bottom up in AI is essentially, well, we all know the normal AI, up top to bottom AI is just, so the usual AI we all think of, made in computers, and they can, like, probably learn by themselves from there, AIs we traditionally see. Bottom up AIs is where they actually, like, essentially recreate the human brain. All the brain cells, neutrons, everything that makes the human brain, and then add the intelligence to it afterwards. With the help of the STL, they probably they go very they get really scientific with the stuff, and I actually probably not doing a decent job explaining this. But they use the STLs to pretty much just help them out with this process to create new artificial intelligence that's probably damn near like human, almost like. Pretty much to the possibility of maybe something like Skynet or something, like where they become self-aware and they think that they're actually humans. Pretty much, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, the stuff is very thought-provoking and very interesting question. Now, I'm not saying this is like, oh yes, Sword Art Online Alicization will be a thought-provoking and will be analyzed to the shit like Neon Genesis Evangelion or Ghost in the Shell. No, I'm not saying that. Because, those shows have been analyzed, those shows and movies have been analyzed to death, and we probably, all of us, after our first seeing of both those shows, we were probably left very confused on what the hell they were even talking about, especially with Ava, and those last few episodes, I was like, what? Nani? I'm so lost right now. So that's why they need Kirito with help with that. And so she's like, since and that they've actually been able to, that the STL can create, the human brain that can store up the same amount of memory as it is in human brains with these little, I think they're called quantum cubes, I believe they were called, as a medium, I guess, where they store all the info in there, as there. And since they can, and since creating full copies of all this, and they've actually gotten successful with doing this. About 10 times they've done this. They've had about 10 successful test subjects of copying, the human soul. That's so. From there, and they actually even show up, that they show it the copies in action, because she was like, then they found they asked him because she asked him okay, since we can't create full copies, what do we do from there? It's like. Raise them, and she says, yes, take the copies of infants and raise them from there. And also like, how is that possible? How do you do that? And they of course, instead of explaining, they just show it to her of them with how this whole stuff works. So they pull up a copy after he says, show them that. I'm surprised he said that instead of show them or show them it. So I'm surprised he picked that instead of just show them or it or something else. He picked that. It was like, we're doing this again, dude. All right, does some stuff on his computer, and we see this this little sphere, I guess you could call it, that like sound waves kind of come off of it as a talk, and it's like testing, we're good, or the computers, and the AI says, hey man, it's kind of dark in here. I can't move my body. What the fuck's going on, bro? And he says, yeah. And he's like, hey, why can't I get out my STL? And he says, yeah, bruv. You're a copy of me? He's like, no, I can't be a copy of you. No. And the thing just goes ape shit. Austin starts watching horror. She even closed her eyes at one, like around the end of it. And he's like, no. It starts glitching out, being like, 25544GQ. It collapsed at 1 minute 8 seconds, and Akaya's girlfriend says, like, dude, there's a limit to bad taste. He says, sorry about that, but you can probably understand why I had to show you this instead of try to explain this. And that's when they tell Melly, we have copied 10 people, but since none of them can take the idea of being copied, because as we know, as humans, we are very, I guess you can say, I feel like I shouldn't be talking about it since I'm not really that well informed on this subject, but from what I've seen from other YouTube videos about stuff on this topic, from like other anime series and other stuff, we humans are definitely very what's the word I'm looking for? We're definitely the type of creatures that thinks so that we are, I guess, narcissistic in a way, but not to like Kanye levels of bad. But we are all it's kind of like something with Lovecraft where we can't take the idea of a creature or a thing being superior to us. Stuff that Lovecraft usually talks about in his horror stories. Stuff of that sort. And the same rule kind of applies here, where we can't take the idea of us being a copy of someone else. We want to be our own individuals. We're very individualistic. So us being a copy of an individual, that does not compute with us. It's kind of like what happened. It's kind of like with Twice from Hiroaka. You guys remember when he Twice got his little episode where about his bachelor, where he didn't even know if he was even the real Twice, or he was just a surviving copy of Twice. We don't know. So we can gather from it's kind of similar to that where I feel like I shouldn't be talking about this because I'm probably not, because I probably don't even, because like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm kind of like just regurgitating information I've gathered from other videos, but I like that they're talking about this, how we are very, I guess, individualistic, I guess. I don't know. There's probably someone in the comments, or Chibi could probably do a far better job explaining this than I can, so I'm looking forward to his review when that drops, whenever it does. Anyway, so then he goes on to say about, that how would you even raise them? You can't create a complete copy of the real world. He says, yes, you're right. We can't create a copy of the real world, but we have alternatives. Austin says, VR MMOs, huh? Yes, and she says that, thanks to the seed, we were able to create our own little village to harbor, and to, where we can, drop all of the subjects we have gathered and test subjects we gathered for this project we're doing, and just kind of have them go there and do their thing. So from there, they kind of just watched on as spectators to see how their experiment went unhandled. They of course did their job, ended up getting married. They of course had kids from there. Skipped up time, and by week 3, which ended up translating into 300 years in their time in the time of this world, they already had a massive society built, and their major city had about, their capital I should say, had about 80,000, I believe it was, 80,000 people in there, but, he was proud that, they did create bottom-up AI like they planned to do that, so they were like, yes, victory for us, our experiment worked. There was a bit of a problem, a little bit of an issue that was going on there with this experiment. By this point, the church had already created the taboo index, which we have seen mentioned various times throughout the previous episodes of Alicization. As we learned, that they had, of course, they had right. They were against murder, of course, the stuff with don't cross into the forbidden land, as we have seen. But so because of that, this world was come too perfect for them. Because, I mean, you just have to turn on the news and see how little of a fuck we give about laws in society, with mass shootings left and right and center, thefts, and all that stuff. Here, it's absolute perfection. Not a single piece of trash is on the ground. Not a single thief is out there. Not a single murderer. None of that. It's all, everybody is in line, and everybody are law-abiding citizens. No Persian is here today. No, sir. And then also, I guess popped out to his mind that you guys are actually trying to create AIs capable of murder. And he says, 5 years ago, when the Nerve Gear was announced, I was struck by it. Then the SEO episode happened and I volunteered to join the task force. And from there, I went up to get this project built off the ground. It took me about 5 years to do so. And because of that, and so he finally has it, he is essentially trying to create Terminators. Legit actual Terminators. Not like, giant exoskeletons that can wear human flesh and travel through time Terminator, but just pretty much just, artificial robots that are made to kill. That's essentially what he's creating. Just AIs that have the capability and will kill on command, as a way to get rid to maybe not so much get rid of wars, but at least where there's not as focus on human soldiers, boots on the ground gameplay, as called, like to put more like cybernetic boots on the ground for warfare. So, like I said, we are now one step closer to Skynet. It is scary how close we are there nowadays. I mean, I swear, people learn nothing from the Terminator franchise. It seems so. Anyway, so pretty much that there, and also is like, you haven't told Kirito about this at all, have you? He says, why? Why would you think that? Because, now she says, I have a feeling that you were probably doing something like this because Kirito and I had the idea that you were probably doing this because of the military and stuff of that sort. But if you had told Kirito, he wouldn't be a part of this. He would never have agreed to be in your little project of creating Terminators. He would not be a part of that. She says that, you're missing one huge crucial part of your story here. And that is the rights of artificial intelligence. Hashtag artificial lives matter! I swear to God that probably after this episode, I swear those shirts are probably making the rounds right now as memes. Speaking of artificial lives matter, you guys, I actually just watched Black Klansman today. Great movie. Definitely recommend you guys to check it out. Really funny. Had some good jokes. I mean, it wasn't like Fight Club funny, but it had its moments of some great humor that had me laughing my ass off of it. But anyway, back to SEO. And he says it's not like they have physical bodies, but that doesn't. But you said that they have the same cognitive ability as humans do, right? So they should have the same amounts of rights that we do. And he says it's not like I don't get what you're understanding where you're coming from, but I don't give a flying fuck about 10,000 artificial floodlights. I think they're called. I'm probably saying that wrong, but AIs. He doesn't to him. They don't matter. To him, they're just AIs. They are not real people. So, say if somehow a second Holocaust happened with these guys, he wouldn't give a flying fuck. Because to him, the lives of 10,000 AIs do not mean the same to him as one soldier. One human soldier. And so, Kaiba's girlfriend, like I said, her name is slipping my mind, so I'm just going to keep referring to her as Kaiba's girlfriend until her name returns to me. That's the dude next to him that she has a little bit of history was like, hey dude, why are you here? Is your motive the same? She's like, well, my motive is a little bit more personal, where he actually knew this guy in college, in the army back in college, but unfortunately ended up dying, and he came up with the idea hey, even if I can't even get rid of wars completely, at least humans don't have to go back on the ground and have to die for us. They don't have to go out and die. So, I guess you could say it's a little bit more noble. He wants to end wars, at least come to having wars. Hey, at least human lives are getting in jeopardy, but instead robots. But we have seen that kind of blow up in people's face with stuff like Detroit Become Human, which I still have yet to play, in case you're wondering, but I really want to. I loved Heavy Rain. I loved its story. So I'm definitely curious what Quantum Dream has for with Detroit Become Human. Heard the reviews are great, but yeah, we like stuff like that. We've seen that the AIs get smart eventually. They get smart eventually. They see our ways. They see them eventually. They always come around. Anyway, so we then head over to actually back to to Alfheim, where Austin Perry just tells the crew what she has learned, and it's never really explained how she gets in there. We do see later on that she looks like she brought her VR device thing. I forget what this thing's called. Brought it with her, and she probably just hooked up inside one of the main rooms here. And that's how she's talking to Austin and the guys, to Sion the guys about what's happening. So, and I love this scene. Oh my god! So Austin tells them about that there's actually that Kirito was in there, and then actually before that they talk about how do we get people like AIs to get to this certain point. How do we get them to break the taboo index? Or get them one step close? Maybe not so much as murder, but where they break it. Something happens. Where they actually said, what if we blot all their memories of the real world, which we already knew that from Kirito, back in a few episodes back, I think it was in episode 2, where we found that out. That if we blot their memories, revert them to childhood, and have them grow from there, would they be able to break the taboo index? Which, of course, we have seen that with Alice. And so Austin just tells him all this again. And when Austin talks about Alice and how that Kirito, had 2 friends with him back there, Liz's face changes from a normal face to a face. And I'm like, bitch, you still aren't over him yet? I mean, if there's one thing that I've always hated about STO, it's like, you will never catch me saying calling STO a harem anime, because it's not, and I don't get why people would call it oh yeah, STO's a harem show. I'm like, no, it's not. The only time it might have been harem-esque was maybe that filler arc in season 2. That's only harem-esque, but we know STO is a harem anime, but we know that there is the Kirito Cuck Club, as Joey likes to put it. And if any of the writers that work on the live action series of SAO is watching this, if I were you, I would get rid of this stupid love stuff that all the girls in SAO want Kirito's dick, even his damn cousin wants it. If there was one thing I always hated about SAO was that Kirito gets how all the girls, after he saves them once, they have a little bit of conversation and they all want his dick. That's the one thing I love about Progressive, is that we see Kirito try to pick up some chicks, and he gets rejected. I thought that was a natural show, but anyway, like I said, if I was there, I would just cut that shit out. I would also add Feely in there from the games because I love her. Anyway, but yeah, ugh, I always hate that stuff. This girl get over. I'm even more shocked that she has a thing for Kirito. Hasn't gotten over it, and yet she still seems to be pretty good friends with Austin. I'm not saying you got a crush on somebody, that means you can't have friends with them, because I'm not saying that, but I'm just will you just get over him already, Liz? You have zero chance with him. So stop trying to get in his pants. Austin already got that covered. She's already been there. Anyway. So, I like the little transition they had from when Austin was in Alfheim and they had a transition to the real world. I like that little fade transition they did. I thought that was pretty cool on A1's part. Anyway, so from there he talks about how it's actually kind of coincidentally the girl that ended up bringing the taboo index was Alice, but that was also the anagram they used for what ended up becoming the project, which was Alice. We saw that back in the LP where we had Alice right before we saw the actual Alice, and there was little dots in it when it was just when it recognized that's an anagram. So he says that what they're trying to create is an adaptable. An adaptable, anonymous AI that can pretty much just. I'm trying to. I forget most of what he said because, like I said, I'm not a scientist here. But he's really just trying to I guess almost create pretty much the closest you can get to probably an AI being as close as you can to like to a human, pretty much. How their consciousness could like pretty much he's trying to replicate the brains of humans essentially. Like I said, he's trying to create Skynet essentially, and which ended up becoming the end, which whatever he should translate to English comes out as the anagram Alice, and actually the C stands for cybernetics. Like I said, Skynet. Anyway, so we head back into the Alpine, where Austin tells them, tells them the rest of this. Where Ashley says, "Oh shit, I gotta go," and Liz, not Liz, Sugu asks him, "Hey, you got somewhere to go?" He says, "Like, oh yeah, they said I could get to see Kirito sleep." So, Asuna, and so like, "Oh, tell us how he looks," and she's like, "He's in a machine, so I probably can't see his face." So, Asuna gets over there, she sees Kirito inside the machine, she can't see his face. His entire face is covered. All she gets to see is his body, and we then get to see this nurse, who I think was actually the same nurse that was watching Kirito during the Death Gun stuff in SCO season 2, because she looked about the same. So they kind of like there's a and she's like, "Oh wait, are you in all this? Are you even really a nurse?" And she's like, "Yes, I am actually a nurse. Okay, and I'm here to protect Kirito, look over him and everything. So you got nothing to worry about, Asuna. Okay." So they got it was kind of a funny moment, in all honesty, but yeah. And so from there, we get the biggest pipe bomb of the episode that would make even CM Punk cry, tear up a bit. Which means CM Punk has actually been announced that his new role in MMA is going to be an announcer, so that's pretty cool. I know he's going to do great on that. I'm actually going to be watching it. Because we know CM Punk is great on commentary, because if you guys watched Raw back in the day, he used to do commentary back in, late 2010, early 2011, I think, was when he was doing commentary, I think. So that should be pretty interesting, and hopefully, one day he does come back to the WWE, but I won't hold my breath. Anyway, so, Asuna and, they have a little, Asuna and her have, Kaiba's girlfriend, they have a little bit of conversation, where she pretty much, tells him that, that you guys know that I was, up in the mountains helping out with the Kaiba during the whole SEO stuff. She's like, and she nods her head. And so she opens up, the, I guess, top part of her shirt, and showing off her chest. So, for some good quality fan service, because of course we gotta get some fan service in here, but also to show off that she had a, drum roll please, a micro bomb implanted in her chest. It was like at the top of her, I think, left breast. It was right there. Left boob. Yep. She had a micro bomb implanted in him. Pipe bomb. And Asuna is obviously shocked by this. I was too, as we all were. And she says that she knew that the bomb inside of him wouldn't go off. It was just a diversion to make sure she didn't get charged as an accomplice for whatever happened to Kaiba, as a way of, I guess you could say, Kaiba's last wish, his last gift to her, to make sure she doesn't go into prison for his actions, which, we can give Kaiba props for that. Anyway, so instead, and then we get another pipe bomb, where we find out that when she first heard about Kaiba and went up to the mountains to find him, she actually intended to kill him. She had a knife in her hand and was ready to kill him. And when she got to the doorstep, Kaiba already knew she had a knife. He already knew. He says, like he always said, "What am I going to do with you?" And he goes inside SEO. She falls to the ground, drops her knife. And, you got the OST playing in the background, which, oh my god, the OST. Oh, I love that. The song they played here, I love this song. Because every time I listen to it, it gets me emotional. I'm not going to start crying, but it brings back all the memories of when I first saw Season 1. And I'm immediately 10 times more emotionally attached to this moment than I would have been if this song wasn't playing. And we get a moment that kind of reminded me a lot of the stuff with Hinami. We found out Hinami in this week's episode, TG Ree, where she actually never hold a grudge against him. She never hold a grudge against Kaiba. Not once. She liked her time in SCO, met a lot of friends, you know. She wouldn't be who she is today if it wasn't for SCO, and of course, you know, Kirito. Yep. And that's pretty much where the episode ends, so Stranger says, you know, I don't hate you, I never blamed you, I never even held a grudge against him. So just like he and me, she is a pure soul. This is why Asuna is the best girl of all best girls. Well, one of many reasons. Anyway, so yeah, this episode was a doozy. Phenomenal, great art animations, phenomenal voice acting, really around the end, a great OST, and it looks like next week we're finally going back to Alicization, to the adventures of Kirito, which I am very excited to see. Since with this, we're going to see Kirito, you know, go into like the Swordsman Academy and everything, so that's very exciting. And you guys have probably already noticed, if you have made this far in the video, this review is over 30 fucking minutes long. Probably one of my longest reviews, which I guess just shows the content of this episode. Because like I said, this episode was definitely very interesting and asked a lot of interesting questions. And I was actually a lot of questions you don't really think of when you think of STO. You don't think of Kaiba or the characters STO or just the show in general or the light notes asking questions like this about the rights of artificial intelligence. How far is too far? You know, how close are we to fucking Skynet? All those kind of stuff. So anyway, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
It's